Hey there, food fans. Welcome back to the Food for Thoughtcast with me, your host, Melissa Reagan, and my co-host with the most, Chef Steven Gonzalez. What's up, Steve?
Hey, what's up?
And then, hey. A whole bunch of nothing. Well, that's actually not true, but it sounds fun. What is
We got a
nothing
lot of
feel
nothing to
like?
catch up on. Let me tell you about nothing.
Let me tell you about all this nothing I got over
Great.
here. Let
It's
me
been
tell
great
you.
so far.
Let me tell you about all this nothings. Steve, what was the most amazing thing that you ate this week?
Let's see. I have had some really good chicken thighs that we got like this different seasoning, like it's like a salt, pepper. Now, I don't like cumin, but it has just a pinch of it to where it's not overwhelming paprika and all that.
Intrigued.
So even though I'm eating a little healthier, say some chicken thighs, they've been just fantastic.
Yes.
What about you?
All right.
The most amazing thing you've had?
Let's see. I had some pretty amazing nachos on Saturday night from the local spot.
Lovely.
I get them to. It makes everything is like not vegan in the nachos, but I like to put the vegan nachos on top, or the vegan chili on top of the nachos. So they make
if they're nachos, is it like a vegan cheese too? Did you just, or you were saying like it's not?
no. So yeah. So I it's kind of an oxymoron. So I order the regular nachos, and I'll get like half carne asada, half chicken, and they do like all the things that come on it, like the Chihuahua cheese and the black beans, and they make everything from scratch, right?
Right.
Then I order a side of vegan chili and I dump it all over the top. So I basically like up the, I like up the bean. Yeah, I just like up the bean factor. It's so good.
That
so
is
good.
hilarious.
It's so
a
delicious.
huge dilemma though. Like I finally have like a reset meal or a cheat meal, if you will, coming up soon. So I have been like I have no clue what I'm gonna do. Like I want it all right now.
Do you know what I've been all about on some social media?
What's that?
I have a couple of dear friends that I think we basically send food reels back and forth. That's what we do. It's our love language, is like sending the reels. And I swear, if it's not about crab rangoons, it's been about pierogies lately. That's it. It's one or the other.
Crab rangoons. Okay, so this is how gluttonous I'm feeling. Like I just want to order a pizza and then throw crab rangoons and pot stickers on top, and then have like a side of mac and cheese, and then just like crumble cookie or something.
Okay. I mean, you should do that though.
I'm combining it all.
Yes.
So,
yes.
but,
yes. There is an account out there where a guy, I can't remember what kind of pizza it was. The guy ordered pizza and he dipped it in tikka masala, and I was like, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
Maybe about that, yeah.
Oh man.
Everything just sounds so good, and I want to pace myself, but at the same time, I'm like, I want it all. I don't know. We'll figure it out. There's options.
I've been doing some. I kind of hate the word dieting, but I've been eliminating foods one at a time to see if I might be intolerant to them or allergic to them. And I've also combined that with some intermittent fasting. So when I tell you that I've given myself like a 4 to 6 hour window in a day to eat all that day's calories, I'm not half-assing it. There's no lie there. I'm just saying.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And when in your case, when you're trying to find out what is messing with you, that's tough. That's very tough.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, I think I've ruled a couple things out. But the more fun part of it has been like eating my entire day's worth of calories in a short window, and it feeling like a binge, like it's something naughty, but it's not. I like that a lot. I'm like, challenge accepted. How much food can I eat?
My problem is that when I go that long without eating and then I have something like substantial, my heart races so hard because you're getting all that back into your system and you're like, what?
So exciting. Yeah, exactly. I get that. I totally get that. All right. So I have to ask, are you watching any television shows? This will get us into our topic.
I have watched a lot of television in my day. Throughout the years, almost 4 decades of watching television, I have seen some stuff. I haven't gotten too many new things, but I'm sure there's stuff that I'm not even thinking about. What about you?
Well, okay. Well, before I answer, do you have like a TV show that you rewatch the most? rewatch more than once, like constantly over and over?
Not anymore, but I remember like in my 20s. So my favorite show growing up was Boy Meets World, and there was a point in my 20s where it was on MTV2, and they would show it over and over and pretty much almost all day, and I would watch that all the time.
Yeah. Let's see. Right now, I'm not watching anything new. But I just finished a rewatch for the millionth time of Gilmore Girls, and I don't care what anybody thinks about that because it's super fun. It's something comforting. And then right now, they just put Royal Pains on Netflix, and I really like that show. And so even though I own all of them on Prime, I was like, yeah, it's on Netflix. This must be a sign. I'm going to watch it again for the millionth time because it's comfort viewing. So.
It sounds comforting. So I will say, I think I watched a few episodes of Gilmore Girls, and it was very comforting how they talk just so quiet and so monotone. Like it seemed like they never were upset. Maybe they were in other episodes, but the ones I saw, like it was just like, oh, they're just cool and calm and collected. Huh, cool.
Yeah, I mean the banter is familiar. There's parts of that show that are like really frenetic, but it's something about it. I think it came out in 2003, and I mean I was a junior in high school, so it's like that was my time. It was perfect. I'm in the market for that. I'm their target demographic 1,000%. So no shame in my game. Well, do you like to eat while you watch TV?
Yeah, pretty much every meal I have, or every time I have dinner, it's always in the living room watching TV. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything specific, or it's just dinner time, or like lunch or dinner?
More dinner time.
Do you snack in front of the television?
I have been known to do that quite a bit. What about you?
Yeah, I had to.
It's better.
I had to stop doing that. Yes, it makes it better. I had to stop doing that. I just, like we're not the diet show out there. We're not the nutrition show. But I did find that I would just eat a lot mindlessly, and it wasn't good for me. Not to say what's right for anybody else, but yeah, I eat meals in front of hey, at my house, the dinner table is for working on work that I bring home and recording this podcast. And I can't tell you the last time I ate a meal at this table.
We
just
at least once a week, we make it a point to sit down and have one meal, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, in the dining room. And the rest of the time, I'm either eating at work, we're eating them for the TV, and with this newer diet that I'm on, like I'll be there at work and it's small meals, so I'll just be there chomping away on food, like in meetings or like talking to my boss and stuff like that. And I can eat whenever. I'm down to eat whenever.
Yeah, that's when if I have to take a call and I'm not at work and it's like a Zoom call, that's when I just turn the camera off. If it's mealtime, sorry, unless you told me it was mandatory to be on camera, like I'm not waiting. My hunger waits for no one.
Agreed.
Well, I think undoubtedly, entertainment and food go hand in hand. And so tonight, on this very, very special episode of the Food for Thoughtcast, we are going to talk about TV restaurants we wish were real and what we'd order if we could eat there.
But you don't have to take our word for it. But
we need that like orchestral we need like the transition.
Bad Reading Rainbow didn't have like a restaurant. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I know. That would have been amazing.
So what show are we going to start with? What show did you grow up wishing that had a real restaurant?
Well, this one is twofold. So I'm a huge Saved by the Bell fan, and the restaurant where everybody ate and hung out was called the Max. But did you know that the Max was actually a functional restaurant? Did you know that?
No, I didn't. That is news to me.
So it was news to me too. So the Max actually functioned as a real restaurant, even though it was built on a soundstage. And so they served all the extras on the show, the craft services from that restaurant.
No kidding.
And they got inspected by the Los Angeles County Health Department, and they got a D. Which is not going to slow me down. So I would want to eat at the Max. 1,000%.
What kind of food did they serve there? It was like what, burgers, hot dogs?
Well, so I think the majority is like burgers and fries and milkshake, kind of that 50s diner vibe, which I love. I'm a sucker for a place like that. If something has an old jukebox in it, like I'm down. And so I think for me, I would have to go chili cheese dog and chili cheese fry. So
I could see that. I think when I was in high school, if I was I'd be kind of self-conscious of having like a chili cheese, anything with chili, because I'd be like, oh, well, I hope my breath doesn't smell the rest of the day. You know? But then, of course, that's why you got gum and all that stuff. But then you go to class and the teachers are like, oh, you can't chew gum in here. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a catch-22. I mean, obviously, I gave 0 Fs about any of that. But if I had the digestion that I had in the 90s, yes, my go-to would be chili dog. But could I eat that now? No. Womp womp.
Yeah. I'll contradict myself. Yeah, because I would always have like hot Cheetos and cheese and a burrito. Yeah. I take it back.
Man. Well, so what is your like go-to hot dog toppings?
If I could have my way, every time I would probably just throw on like, damn, I guess chili would be the best way to go. But like,
I know, right?
Yeah, just throw on like some onions and stuff like that, but grilled onions.
Yeah, I have this thing. I mean, if it's gonna be raw onions on a hot dog, then it has to be like a QT dog, like a real crap, like just yellow mustard, and because they have to either soak those onions or maybe they're rehydrating them from like a carton. You know what I mean? But they're not like real feral. They're not like real raunchy like raw onions usually are. But yes, I agree with you there, dude. Some grilled onions. Are you mustard or ketchup or both or what?
Probably a little bit more mustard. Yeah.
I know it's sacrilege to put ketchup on a dog, but
I always thought it was normal to put ketchup on a dog. But if I have to pick, I like that. I like mustard over ketchup.
I kind of like. I like both, but if you're gonna put chili on it, then I don't put anything on there, like chili cheese.
Yeah, true. And then you go around with smelly breath in a good way. No one. I mean, you don't have to care because you're the one that got to eat it and you're full.
If that's the worst thing that happened, if I could just be like with the nerdy kids, like the real like pocket protector suspender kids, I'd be like, but like the brunette version of Violet, like the nerdy girl. Yeah, that'd be fine. You know, I'd be like, but there's the girl's old chili breath. I'd be like, hi guys.
Well, that's when you want. So to help with all that, they also it looked like they served some really good shakes there too, because there was a bunch of episodes of Saved by the Bell where they're having like milkshakes and they're sharing one, the 2 straws and all that.
So cute.
And they're looking into each other's eyes, trying to look all cute. Did you ever do that? Have you ever shared a milkshake with like someone that you were dating or
I have 2 words for you. Maybe it's a hyphenate. Backwash. So no. No, dude. Get your own.
Either. Because I've been too gluttonous, so I'm like, no, get your own. Here, let me get one for you. Okay, we're good.
Every food sharing situation turns me into Napoleon Dynamite automatically. Get your own. Like I can't.
I can see that. Yeah.
I don't
mind sharing, like if I'm dating someone or like now that I'm married, like I don't mind sharing a bite or 2 with my wife.
I think that's different, but like, oof, not 2 straws.
Yeah, I don't think her and I have ever shared like a milkshake, and I don't think. Wait, I take that back. We have done that in Vegas, where you go to one of those candy shops and they give you like those giant.
Oh, sure, yeah,
cocktails and full of candy and alcohol and stuff. Yeah, I've shared that with her. The alcohol just kills all the germs, so it's okay.
Yeah, I get
There's
that.
no alcohol in those milkshakes in Saved by the Bell because they were teenagers.
Yeah, so. I mean, that we know of. It could be like a very special episode. Zach could wreck Lisa's mom's car again, but
That's true. Another episode that I would watch, and I kind of would because I love breakfast, was Parks and Rec. And you would always hear them talk about JJ's Diner and their amazing waffles.
Yeah.
They have the best waffles in existence. And I always thought, I wonder what that consists of because I love waffles.
I like waffles too.
It was waffles and whipped cream. I mean, that alone sounds good. So,
yeah. If JJ's was a real place, I would do my go-to waffle is usually chocolate chip.
I do like chocolate chip waffles.
Yeah.
I don't mind a lot of syrup. I love. Wait, are you like a Belgian waffle type of person, or like?
So I have a complicated answer to that. A lot of people call them Belgian waffles, but they're not.
Yeah,
So
but I
it's
mean,
like,
we all know.
I mean, I like waffles a lot.
Me too.
I'm a really big fan of putting a little cornmeal in mine. I like a texture. So
I haven't done that. I need
or
to.
or oats, but like slightly pulsed. So they're not whole, but it's not oat flour, but just a little. I like a little texture in there. It's like when IHOP used to have actually they still do. It's like the fruits and grains pancake that has like the cream of wheat in it. Because it has like chewy texture. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I like that in waffles too. So to answer your question, sorry, super long answer for a really short, simple question. Yes, Belgian waffles all the way. I mean, because Belgian waffles have bigger pockets for syrup.
Belgian style. Yeah.
Belgian style. Yeah, Belgian style.
Yeah, I like berries in mine, and I like a lot of whipped cream, a lot of butter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what what I should do, and I never do, is put some candy pecans or something on there just to give it a little extra texture.
Yeah, yeah, I like a little crunch. Has to be some contrast there.
But I also like coffee with it, so you know, if it's like spiked coffee, heck yeah, buddy.
Yes, like huge Belgian waffle with some strawberries and whipped cream, and then like some Irish coffee. Like, let's go.
I don't see a downside to that at all. You're giving me things to look forward to when I go on vacation. I just go all off the diet and just go crazy.
You have to find all the places that you wish were real.
All the weight that I just got rid of, it's going to come back and then some.
Yes.
What's another restaurant that you wish you could go to?
Luke Steiner from Gilmore Girls. It seemed like, number one, it was the place to be. All the town gossip, right? Never short of never a dull moment there. Never short of all the drama,
right?
All the tea, as the kids say. But I love a place where you can get a patty melt, like a real legit patty melt, and that's what I would want with like an egg on it. Oh man,
that sounds pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
What's your ideal patty melt? Because you said if it's done right.
Yeah. So what
is it right for you?
Right for me is very, very caramelized onions.
Okay.
And a smashed patty.
Okay.
With yellow mustard on one side and mayo on the other.
Okay.
And then I like Swiss on mine and a big runny fried egg on Texas toast. And then it's all griddled with a lot of that fake butter that's not butter or not oil, but you don't know what it is.
I was good. Okay. Yeah.
In the hamster wheel on the back of the flat top where you like zhuzh the bread over it and it gets there, but like it's still not butter. Yeah, that.
I was gonna say, aren't they typically done on rye bread? But
you can. I mean, look, I love a Reuben sandwich too, so I love rye bread, and I love marble rye bread is spectacular. But yeah, for me, my perfect patty melt is Texas toast.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Texas toast is pretty good though.
Mm-hmm.
In all fairness, but you got to toast both sides, and then when you put everything in there, like all the insides, it gets like first to get soaked up by the toast. Yeah.
Yes.
Making my mouth water.
Dude, and Texas toast has that little like squish, like it's soft. And so it's gonna absorb all the meat grease and then the butter from the griddle. Hopefully you cook the eggs right there. Or I'm sorry, hopefully you cook the onions right there on the griddle, and then you cook the meat, and then all the grease is still there when you do the bread. Like, I'm doing that right now.
I don't even mind if the egg is like slightly overcooked, like not to where it's running, but like over medium. I'm okay with that.
Well, I like that too. It depends on what it is, because like less yolk equals less mess. Sometimes, like depending on how. Okay, I went to that place that you don't like for the tacos last week, the Torchies. Yeah. Dude, they had their taco of the month. You ready for this?
Tell me.
It was called a churrasco, and it was ridiculous, and it was hot. You'll be glad to know.
I was going to say, was it? Did they at least send it out temperature hot?
It was, yeah, they did. It was a flour tortilla with a fried chicken tender, a half of a churro, a fried egg, and bacon onion marmalade. And oh my God, it was really, really good. And it came with syrup. Dude, so good. It was so good. It was like chicken and waffles all on the thing. But that's one instance where I wish I had ordered the egg well done, because it was a mess by the end. Like, it was like or running down my arm, and like I was just
The only time it's acceptable is when you have a side of fries, because then you can dip your fries in that runny egg yolk.
Yes.
Or tater
And
tots.
from dude,
yeah.
and from all the times I've watched Gilmore Girls 1,000 times over, I think the diner has steak fries, which I'm a huge fan of.
Oh.
And then they've shown a lot of like instances where the mom and the daughter will get like frings, like the half fries, half onion rings. And you have to assume in a small town diner that those things are being made from scratch. So it's like, yes, please. I would like to go to there.
Why, yes, this place does sound very magnificent.
And the coffee. So it's well known throughout all 7 seasons that the coffee there rivals everywhere else. So huge fan. Huge fan. I want to go to Luke's Diner. There have been pop-ups. They rebooted the show into like 4 1-hour specials.
Okay.
And they did pop-ups around the United States that were like branded and themed and everything else. But alas, no Luke cooking food. So
wah, wah.
Here we are.
So, well,
here we are.
You know where I would go for breakfast if I could?
What is it?
Los Pollos Hermanos from
Yes.
Breaking Bad.
From Breaking Bad.
There's something about that restaurant, like it just seems like it would be an awesome restaurant. Like, and then when they talk about like how clean it is and how good it is, you're like, wait a minute, there's got to be something going on here.
Yeah, like that's how you know it's a front.
Good food is clean.
That's how you know it's a front for a meth operation.
But then, like, you look at like characters like Gus Fring and like how meticulous he is. And, you're like, okay, this dude looks like he knows like good food, and he expects nothing but the highest quality.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about that show. I loved Breaking Bad. It was a great show. And then you look at like, I can remember for so many years I'd go to Target like to buy pants and stuff like that. And you'd see like the Los Pollos Hermanos shirt. And I always remember like, what the heck is that? And then when I watched Breaking Bad, I was like, oh, that's cool.
So what would you order there?
I would get breakfast, because I would imagine they'd have some like killer breakfast tacos and some coffee, because I mean fast food breakfast tacos typically don't suck. And then
it's hard to mess them up.
Yeah, or I just get some fried chicken. I think they put out like fried chicken, or like it looks like they've shown food a couple of times. It looks like it was good if I remember correctly, but even then, like you get like this image of like what fried chicken should be, and you're like, I think that's what Gus Fring would put out, with like some sort of like, I don't even know what nationality he was, but like with a twist. And you're like, damn, I bet you that would be good. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure they had some like really dope hot sauces. And I mean, think about where it's supposed to be located, right? Like it probably had some influences. And if your restaurant's going to be a front for a drug ring, the food has to be really killer, because you have to keep up the illusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's true. That is very true.
Yeah. Yep.
What's another one that you would go to?
So it's definitely has to be Central Perk from Friends. I love a good coffee shop with lots of soft seating.
And they have to have like some good pastries too, right?
Yeah. I imagine, in New York at that time, you can't not have like a really great cruller, a Danish. You have to have bagels, So
yeah.
I mean, occasionally they would show somebody like eating a muffin or a little piece of coffee cake. But yeah, I would want basically like a fufu coffee. If I'm going to go in a place like that, and I'm going to pay undoubtedly what the people of New York pay for a place like that, right? I'm going to order more than my usual drip black coffee. I'm going to get some half-calf soy latte thing. And I want it in a big cozy mug. Stop judging me, Steven.
Hogwash. Black coffee, my friend.
No, but I mean, if you're going to pay all that money, it's like, okay, well, what's another $1 on top of probably $12,
that's the base of like all their drinks is coffee. So they have to have a good base, a good black coffee.
You're right. Maybe, but not necessarily.
I mean, last time we were in Philadelphia and we went to the Reading Market or Reading Terminal, like I went to all these different places and got their coffees, and they were all delicious as
Really?
it is. I didn't have to add any sugar, cream. It was amazing. So,
how many cups of coffee did you drink, Stephen?
oh, that's why we walked everywhere. I was so caffeinated and energized that we didn't even need lifts or Ubers. We walked. I put Ursula on my back and ran everywhere, you know?
That's awesome.
But no, like with Central Perk, I would have a good black coffee. And you know what? I would probably get some sort of like pastry and dip it in there. Yeah. Like a real good croissant or like a Danish or something. Yeah.
Right.
You could dip that in there and then take a bite. Yeah.
I'm a big, like, if there's an almond croissant somewhere, I won't pass it up.
Nice.
That's my jam. What about you for like breakfast pastries?
I'm always a fan of like just sweeter croissants, like a chocolate croissant, things like that. I like all that. So like, okay, do you ever go to like donut shops?
Yes.
Do you like donuts and coffee? Like, do you like dunk your donuts in there? Like Dunkin' Donuts and all that stuff?
I don't.
Yeah, like the donuts I get, they're always just regular glazed donuts. I'm not a big, like, I'll do the chocolate covered donuts and all that, but I don't know.
Well, the older I get, the more I appreciate like the not those sweet donuts. So like a cake old fashioned, that's legit. I will dip that in coffee all day long, or like a blueberry cake. But I love an actual bear claw, like an actual, not how places call it an apple fritter, or they call it a bear claw, and it's actually a crap apple fritter, a crapple fritter, if you will. No, but like yeasted, and it looks like a bear's paw. Like, that is legit. That's old school donuts.
Oh yeah, big time.
I like that stuff. Do you eat the eclairs?
I love eclairs. I do. They're just good.
What about jelly donuts?
I used to love jelly donuts when I was a kid. I don't enjoy them as much anymore, but I'm not saying I'd never eat one again. They're not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't kick it out of bed. I definitely eat it less than I did when I was a kid. I really, really like all the funky. I'm like a big fan of finding like the local, not chain place.
Yeah.
And maybe they do like the peanut butter bacon banana, or they do something spicy like chili powder with like a Mexican chocolate type of glaze. Like, yeah,
sure.
I like that stuff a lot.
I like when they stuff them with like that royal icing type, if you will, where it's almost like whipped cream. Like,
yes.
Yeah, those are my favorites.
It's like a really odd combination of whipped cream and Crisco. It's like shiny. Yeah, I like that too. That's more of like a Boston cream type style. And
it seems like the Boston cream is more like pudding, right?
Well, you can, like, it really depends on where you get it, and none of it's really like the real Boston cream style. But yeah, it depends on where you get it and what they want to call it. But if you get a lot of times you get the Bavarian style, it's going to have that pastry cream, like the pudding in it. And then you get like a cream filled, and it's going to have like the shiny. I'm all about that, dude. It's so good. But I think Central Perk would probably have some foo-foo, bougie, overpriced, probably like 3 kinds of muffin. I bet they'd have a Morning Glory muffin. Probably have like a blueberry streusel. Probably some, bran, some ridiculous,
sort of like egg sandwich. An egg white sandwich, frittata.
Egg white sandwich. Yeah.
You need to have some stuff like that. Yeah.
Hey, I was at a grocery store not too long ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago. I was at an Albertsons that had a Starbucks in it, and I was really hungry. And don't sleep on the fried chicken maple egg biscuit sandwich.
Fried chicken maple. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised. So I was really happy with it.
You know where I would go? It's not so much a restaurant, but it seems like it would be a wonderful hangout spot. Patty's Pub.
Yes.
I'd be afraid to eat the food if they ever served food from there, but I'd be like, you know what? I would go hang out and see what it's all about.
What would be your drink order?
For them, Coors Light. I feel like it would just be like, beer, because that's what it usually is. But like food wise, like what do you think of like when you think of pub food?
I think of like fish and chips, maybe a Reuben sandwich, a burger. Maybe there's like a soup of the day.
And some wings.
Depends on what kind of pub. Yeah, wings. Maybe some sort of fried, like
easy pickup stuff. Yeah, I'd be about that.
Easy pickup. That's 100% right. So for those of you who don't know, Patty's Pub from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But yeah, it seems like the kind of place where you would get the fried pickles and then you would scrape half the breading off because it'd be like partially raw on the inside, or
yeah,
always be weird. Like, I didn't order it like this. They'd be like, well, that's how you're gonna eat it.
Deep fried deliciousness is what I picture from pubs. But yes, fish and chips is always like the number one thing that we think of.
Yeah, that's always what I think of. Have you ever gone to an English pub and had like the English fry-up, like the full breakfast?
Can't say I have. I need to.
Oh man. Yeah, you need to check that off your list. That full English breakfast is like the British back bacon, the sausages, the blood pudding, eggs, baked beans, mushrooms, tomato, and toast. Yeah.
I feel like that would be amazing.
Like breathing intensifies. The word pub always makes me think of that. So the word pub from public house used to be a meeting space for a community. It would always be in the center of the community. Used to provide all sorts of services, right? And kind of real far from what we have now, but it used to provide all sort of like services for folks in the community. You could watch your kids, you come have a beer. It would be like town meeting hall, So
yeah.
But yeah, Patty's Pub, definitely a different animal. I feel like that's a place where I would have to pull like a Niles from Frasier and wipe the seat off before I sat on it. Maybe like it just, yeah.
Not only that, but you'd probably have to have some sort of like Hep C shot once you leave.
Yeah, all your shots. Maybe like if you buy a pitcher of beer, you get like a free tetanus shot.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yes.
I love that show. It's just great.
It is really great.
What about you? What's next on your list?
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and let my freak flag fly. I was and am still a huge Baywatch fan, and so for those that don't know, the original season ended up there's a first season and then there's like a second first season because it got canceled after the first season and another network picked it up, and so they went again, and then into the third season you got like kind of new characters. It's kind of crazy. They pull a change up. But early on, they had this mother and daughter that were characters on the show, and one of them was a restaurant owner. So she opened a little spot called Jackie's Summer Place. And I have it like beachfront. And so I have an affinity for places that serve food in those nachos containers. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like the cardboard boat with the red and white, stripe on the outside.
Yeah.
Anything that comes that way. And so even though the show took place in California, I always think of more like an East Coast, like a clam shack, like Coney Island type deal. But I would
on the West Coast.
Right. But so you get the idea. So there's always going to be some sort of fried seafood. There's going to be burgers, fries, like corn dogs, probably like beach stuff. And so
lobster corn dogs,
like a big, can you imagine like spend all day swimming at the beach? It's hot, and you get like a huge soda and French fries and like the best club sandwich you've ever had. Like that's what I would do.
Because you don't want to go to the beach and have a salad. Who does that?
No. Did you see Baywatch the movie with The Rock?
No.
So The Rock and Zac Efron and all the people like in the show, right? The idea is they're all pretty and they work there because they're all pretty and whatever. And it's kind of like a spoof of itself, but there's a scene in the movie where they all go out to eat and there's this new guy and he orders like a salad with a chicken breast and everybody else is like chowing down on triple burgers. And he's like, wait, how you guys stay in shape? I mean, the movie was terrible. It was worth a laugh, but yeah. But yeah. So Jackie's Summer Place, this woman, she was a businesswoman. She made it for herself, opened a successful restaurant. It faced the beach. making money, crazy busy all the time. And it's little roadside stand food, what you would expect, like sandwiches and burgers and, pop and fries. And I like it. I like it a lot.
Pop.
From
the north. Soda. It's soda.
It's a Coke. And then you ask what kind.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of Coke do you want? Dr. Pepper. Okay.
Sprite.
It's Sprite. What about you, Steve?
Root beer Coke.
Yeah. I meant the next TV show.
Next TV show. Well, we're going to have to circle back to Boy Meets World because, again, being one of my favorite shows growing up, they had Chubby's. Which
yes.
all it was. Chubby's famous. I guess. Even though it probably wasn't famous. But it always cracked me up because I listened to the podcast and they talked about how the background music always just sounded like someone just wilding out like on a guitar solo.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course you have everyone, fraternizing and whatnot. But what I remember was they would order like a turkey chubby with everything, which is like, if you've never been there, it's like you get it regardless of what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one I remember is like a double chubby with cheese and then like chubby fries or Chubby's famous French fries and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I always think of like chili cheese fries for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something about it where you just like it just screams like a chili cheese place, a chili cheese fry place,
Pod Meets World podcast. Yep. Y'all got to come on. Y'all need to come on the Food for Thoughtcast.
We need to know what took place at Chubby's.
We need to know what your order would have been if Chubby's was a real place.
Right.
So, and then we're going to talk to you about all sort of other foods. So come on the podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I want to know what was on the actual menu of Chubby's, even though it was like an awesome TV show.
Even though it's fictional. Well, I think there's one episode where Corey determines that the turkey chubby is not made out of real turkey.
Right. And then they also had a clown burger. It was a Chubby's famous hamburger with clown hats inserted into the bun. It was meant for kids.
Would totally go for that.
I wouldn't like. Do you put it like in your ear and just have a clown hat sticking out? Or
I think you put it in your drink. I would put it in my drink like it was a cocktail umbrella.
Yeah, so, that does sound pretty good.
I typically choose chaos in every single situation. So the more outlandish whatever it was, like I would probably pick that.
the one episode I do remember is one time there was a girl, she was like arguing with the guy that worked there. She's like, "Look here, you greasy man," blah blah blah, like they talk, and then he goes, I'm not greasy, I glisten," or something like that. And I was like, that's awesome. And then years later, when I was in the restaurant and I reeked of grease, I was like, I'm glistening. This is what he meant all those years ago.
Yeah. So for anybody who's never worked in a kitchen, if you're around a deep fryer for all of 10 minutes, that smell is on your clothes and it's coming home with you. The smell of grease on a flat top or a deep fryer is like almost as pervasive as cigarette smoke is.
That is when you want a leather interior in your vehicle, because then your vehicle will then smell like grease. All the car fresheners in the world, or air fresheners, will not make your car smell not like grease.
No, it takes OxyClean and detergent. Like it's like when you get that one bonus fry at the bottom of fast food fries that's a little darker than all the other fries, you'd amplify that times 10,000, and that's the grease smell. And if the grease is old, God help you, because your shoes are going to smell like it. Like, that's it. But I think we've all been, when I say we, I mean, all of us and our amazing listeners or viewers, if you're watching us on YouTube, hello. But I think we've all been to a little greasy spoon diner, no matter where we grew up. And maybe some people love it and maybe some people hate it. But I love the idea of, a place like Chubby's. But I think it would be weird, like the teachers went there too. That would weird me out. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anytime I saw one of my teachers out in the wild when I was in school, I would hide behind 15, objects. I would run.
I would just be like, I'd avoid eye contact at all costs.
Agree.
What's your next restaurant?
Well, one of those, I was just going to say, one of those greasy spoon diners, it's always going to end up having chili on it, whatever I order. if they have good chili, or if they don't. Like, it kind of doesn't matter. Like, it's a prerequisite.
I'll wrap it up with this restaurant where I would just imagine like a double, like a big old fat greasy patty with like bacon and cheese, like a double, and then just I don't know. That's what I always thought about, like whenever I thought of Chubby's famous restaurant. I think I'm gonna have to make it now, because like it's like this is what I would imagine a Chubby's burger would have been like,
Yeah. So when you put chili on your burger, do you put everything else on it, or no?
Cheese is a must. Chili, I would probably throw an onion ring or two on there, and a whole lot of butter on my bun.
Yeah. But I like the contrast. So I like full out like mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, and then chili, because I like the hot and the cold, the crunch, and all that stuff.
You, my friend, are a true glutton, and I love it.
I'm an animal. Can't be stopped. We're gonna go to Vesuvio on The Sopranos. I love like an old school Italian restaurant. I cannot get enough, even if it's Americanized Italian. Like, I'm down for it. I want all the things.
Okay. All of it. Yeah. I would imagine like a good pasta with sauce and meatballs. Well, I'm sorry, like in movies, they
gravy.
Call it gravy. Yeah. You got to make good gravy. And I'm like, that's meat. That's tomato sauce. That doesn't look like gravy at all.
It depends on if you grew up in the neighborhood or not.
Right.
But yeah, like there's something about, I like when you can find an old school Italian restaurant and you get like the pasta sampler. Have you ever gotten one of those? And you get like a little piece of lasagna, one cannelloni, one, like baked ziti, one, you get like 4 different, I've been to 3 different Italian restaurants that have that. And they're always like old school, family owned. But dude, I mean, besides it being a wonderful TV show, like the food always looked amazing. I've
seen The Sopranos a handful of episodes, and it did look really good. Like, I would probably be sleeping with the fishes if I called their gravy tomato sauce. Does that make sense?
If you called it marinara.
That's a marinara. What happened to Steven? He's sleeping with the
Steve? I just saw him yesterday.
We took care of that problem.
He didn't say anything.
He will never call it marinara again.
You've insulted the entire family.
I would never want to insult anyone. There's nothing but respect and love for that, for Italian cuisine.
For sure.
I love it.
I got, runner up to my list would be Big Al's Diner from Happy Days. Because dude, burger place with the jukebox. I mean, you can't get away from it.
I loved when Weezer did their Buddy Holly video.
Yes,
and like,
it's so good.
Try the fish. Yeah,
it's so good.
Do I need a runner-up restaurant? Ooh.
I don't know if you have one.
Okay, don't judge me.
Okay, then.
You promise?
I promise.
The Krusty Krab.
Ah, yeah. Okay, the Krusty Krab.
I don't know how you forgot about that one, but yes, that would be a runner-up.
So, if you were to make a Krabby Patty sandwich, what would it be?
The way they do it, where it just looks like a regular burger. Bun, meat, ketchup, pickles, lettuce, tomato, onion. Yeah, with sea cheese. And you can have a double or a triple Krabby with sea cheese, and then you have coral bits and kelp rings, kelp shake.
I always wondered if there were like alternative items for if you lived under the sea, like SpongeBob did. So it always kind of made me laugh and wonder if like, does the existence of a Krabby Patty mean that there's like little crab cows running around? Like, is that like, or cow crabs? I don't know. How's it work?
I don't know. It just sounds. It's just a place that I can remember growing up, or a place I can remember growing up. A show I remember while growing up.
I knew what you meant.
I wish this place was real, because some of these actually sound pretty good. Right. And then, of course, like the animation of them just looked killer too.
Oh yeah. So I would totally go into Bob's Burger if that was a real place.
Oh, yes.
I love a pun. Like, I think I would just order whatever the burger of the day was, just to say the pun.
They have a cookbook out with all those different ones, right?
Really? No, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure there's like a book with all those type of like names
That's
and recipes
awesome.
and stuff like that. Like
That's awesome.
We'll have to look it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then there's Honker Burger from Doug. That's a fun one. So if anybody watched,
I loved that
yes,
show growing up.
I loved it too. But everything was ordered in diner speak, which cracks me up. Like 3 moo cows, 1 no tears, or whatever. Like 1 no onion, 1, like yeah. I like that. I like that diner speak. So
what about the Bear? That seems like it would be a good restaurant.
Yeah,
the restaurant in the Bear. What was it called?
That's a really good question.
Where they just serve like those awesome beef sandwiches. Oh, yeah. I'd be about that totally. Yeah. And it's like that's all that was on the menu, that and fries, and it was just amazing from what it seemed like,
Yeah. I have no idea. Like, why can I not remember
hot Italian beef sandwich, bro? Yeah, that would be awesome.
Oh my gosh, why did you bring that up? Because I can't remember what the restaurant's called in the freaking show.
It's called Google the Bear Restaurant, Chicago.
I'm having no luck.
Apparently, it's a real restaurant too. Its center doesn't actually exist, but like it was filmed like an actual restaurant.
Yeah. Well, they had like exteriors and interiors and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
There's a lot of famous chefs don't actually like the show because they think that the drama and the storylines have kind of set back restaurants as far as like reputation and culture.
I will say I did get stressed out watching.
Oh, I didn't. It was like a love-hate. Like I was like, I gotta watch the rest of it, but I kind of don't want to. Like
I can remember watching it, being a little bit stressed out with him just screaming, And then I remember I've worked with some people who were like that, and then I've worked with some chefs who were like, "No, bro, just get it out. Come on, like,
yeah,
you got this. Like, you know what you're doing." And especially if there's one item on the menu, well, 2, if you sandwich and fries.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, that is not hard at all.
It's the original
beef.
The original beef.
Yeah,
the original beef. I think that was the name, but I think
something like that was still. It looked good. I'll at least say that.
Right. Did you ever watch Roseanne?
For when I was like a kid, young, many years ago.
Well, I watched it in my. We didn't watch it growing up because it was kind of risque. But I watched it in syndication and I really enjoyed the Connors, like the reboot. But they had the Lanford lunchbox, and the big thing at the Lanford lunchbox was the loose meat sandwich, which is kind of like a Midwestern version of the chopped cheese from New York. So it's like beef and cheese and onions, like on a seeded roll, and I'm totally about that. I like a sloppy Joe, kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound pretty good.
So I would totally eat at a place if it was like all open faced hot sandwiches. Like meatloaf, sloppy joes, like have to get kind of creative, I think. But
I got a good one for you that you might laugh at.
What's that?
Monk's Cafe from Seinfeld.
Yes. Okay. So I didn't put this on my list because the food never looks good.
No, it really doesn't. But it's Seinfeld. Come on.
Yeah. I am not gonna lie. I love Seinfeld.
Because there was no soup for you.
No soup for you. Yeah.
I agree.
Indeed. Yeah. So I did walk past the exterior filming location of that cafe.
Really?
In New York, yeah. And it had some scaffolding around it because they were doing construction. This is almost 3 years ago. And so I took pictures and everything. I wanted to go inside for like a piece of pie and a cup of coffee, and they were like, "We close in 30 minutes." And I was like, pie and coffee. And they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna close." I was like, okay, like very, very rude. So that's my
30 minutes to have a cup of coffee and a piece of pie.
I was like, well, that's my story about that. And so I took my pictures and left. It's fine. Oh, you should mention Crumble because I got There's another place that's not crumble. It's like Insomnia Cookie or something like that.
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, I got that instead. That's not crumble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I need to get some.
You should.
Yeah.
If you're gonna stray from your super fitness meal plan, then you should like go hog wild and then get back on the train.
I don't have an Insomnia Cookie near me.
Do
See?
you have crumble though?
Yeah, we have crumble.
Yeah, crumble's good.
Actually, you know what I love to do is we'll get a 4-pack and we'll cut them into fours, and then we'll put them in the fridge and let all that butter just harden up.
Yeah.
And because they're so rich and soft, like in the morning, you just dunk your cookies in your coffee, and holy cow, is that good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I immediately like where this is going.
Yeah. You know what else sounded like it would have been fun to go try out, even though my wife doesn't enjoy that kind of stuff? The frozen banana stand from Arrested Development.
Yes, because there's always money in the banana stand. I love that show for starters. That's another frequent rewatch. Even the later seasons that are kind of crap, there's something magical about them. But
I couldn't get through the entire season, like when they started doing it on Netflix. But like the first few seasons, like that were on FX or something like that.
Brilliant.
Oh, they were amazing.
It's so good.
I can just imagine it was just like either a chocolate dip banana or like a banana shake. Like,
but there wasn't the only. But it wasn't the only food. I mean, we're talking about the fictional restaurants, right? Bluth's frozen banana stand. But it wasn't the only food. They had the cornballer. Remember that? It was like the Hush Puppy machine. Like it was their family's invention. I'm like, I want Hush Puppies. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I guess I have to rewatch it. Oh darn! I have to watch a funny show all over again that I like.
Right?
I remember
so comforting. I can't remember the last time I watched a new TV show, man. Probably The Bear was probably the most recent, actually.
I remember my brother got me into Arrested Development in my 20s. And then in my early 30s, I was going on a work trip. And on the airplane, Arrested Development was one of the series that I could watch. So I'm watching the pilot, and I'm laughing so hard on the airplane. And people are looking at me like, what's going on with this guy? What's he watching? And it was Arrested Development. Like, I had to catch myself from laughing out loud so much because I was like, this is hilarious. Why? I need to watch this again and again and again, you know?
It continues to be funny. I have this thing about like Jason Bateman and his dry delivery is just
you can't top it. That show is hilarious.
You can't top it.
It was just so well written.
For real. Well, hey everybody, like we hope you've enjoyed. This was just kind of a fun episode. Their TV shows kind of become a part of the culture and you grow up watching certain things and there's just some places where you wish you could go eat. Or at least I have. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe Steve and I are the only ones. But hey, guess what? You're an hour in now, so it's too late to bail. Steve, what are you up to? What's cooking and where can people find you?
I don't know what's cooking yet, but we will figure that one out tomorrow on my day off.
To be continued on the next very special episode.
Right. I think we'll have to do an episode of like what Steven eats, like whenever he gets like extra or cheat meals or whatever. But yes, make sure that you follow me on social media where I will tease your taste buds with all these great posts of amazing food on Chef Steven Gonzalez on Facebook, Chef Stegons on Instagram, TikTok, and X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. Or you can just go to chefstevengonzalez.com and get a food cook, get your grub on, and also cook. Yeah.
Yes. Cook alongside Steve and all the reels and stories on the social media post. As for me and for us, you can find us in the Food for Thoughtcast Facebook and Instagram. Lots of fun episodes coming your way with some guests coming up as well. I would like to give a quick shout out to the Soundtrack of Life podcast. It's a music podcast hosted by Matt, Sean, Spencer, sometimes Dusty, sometimes an arrangement of those 4 or 3 or 2 of them. It is a great podcast for anybody who likes and listens to music. And Matt is a huge supporter of this podcast. So thank you so much. Steve, we got to go.
Okay.
We got to go.
Okay.
Dude, I got to go find some chili and pour it on top of something stat. I'm just
Pour some chili on me. Like, no,
yes,
I don't do that.
You heard it here first. Third degree burns, and that's how we got canceled. Yeah. All right.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.